Hi, it's Natasha with soldbynat.com, associate broker with Virtual Properties Realty here in Georgia. And gotta record this video, gotta share. If you are thinking about selling your home to an investor, this is definitely a video that you wanna watch. Man, it has been a while since I had dealings with a buyer selling their home to an investor, and it went south, and it's bringing me back. Like, why? Yeah, why I don't care for some investors. Not all. It can work, but want to bring you something to be mindful of, because I have had some clients in dual move situations where they have sold to like Open Door. Yeah, I think Open Door. Have I had one that sold to Zillow? Not sure. But FYI, if you are thinking about going that route, I do have a service within my brokerage where we can look at that option. Like, you can contact me, we can look at the option, and also selling traditionally. So instead of you having to go through each one of those sites, contact me. I can present offers, like, here's what the offer would be if you went through them, here's what it would be going traditionally, just FYI. But I have had sellers that have gone that way and then bought with me for their, next purchase. So they do work. I'm talking about those other investors, those, I don't want to say conglomerates. I don't know what they're called. I'm going to figure it out. It's not on top of my head, but essentially they are groups that have big money. They have big pockets, and they are buying up properties in Atlanta, in Georgia, all over. Probably. Like this one company, the person I was dealing with, real sweet. She was like, this particular investor is buying up 100 properties a month. So they have long money and they are buying up properties. With this particular deal, let me tell you, oh my gosh. So my clients scheduled to close on Monday, right? Closing, selling on their home, and then buying their new home, their new construction home, dual closing, same day. Today's Friday. Yesterday evening, after 7 p.m., I get to my office, open my laptop, and I have a termination form. And I'm like, what? Termination? What is this for? And it's just a blanket termination. Tells me they discovered some adverse terms that won't allow the investor to rent. And I'm like, no, that's incorrect. There's no HOA in this community. What are you talking about? Just real blanket, just a callous. Like, it's just like, here. What? It is 9:04 p.m. on a Thursday evening, getting out of the office, and I just have to record this. Literally walking into my office after a final walkthrough, get into my office, open my laptop, and I have a termination for a dual closing that I'm supposed to have on Monday. Essentially, sellers are selling and then buying their new construction house. The investors that are buying their house sent me a termination. Just like, hey, we found some adverse terms that are not going to allow these investors to rent. So here's a termination. And I'm like, no, that is incorrect, because there is no HOA. There's no HOA. They don't pay HOA, and there are renters in there. So real estate is not for the faint, y'all. It is not for the faint. I'm just like, I could lose it, but no, I can't lose it. So spend all today, the seller and I are digging to see, what are these people talking about? The seller does not pay into an HOA, doesn't have an HOA that we know of. She's going to a neighbor. Nobody knows about an HOA. There are at least 30% of the community has rentals in it, so we don't know what they're talking about. But long story short, there was some basically covenants. There's a declaration drawn up somewhere that exists, even though she doesn't pay into it. not even doesn't pay into it. Even though they technically don't have an HOA, it's not in existence, it's not active, it hasn't been set up, the community's 2 years old, it's not around. It's the craziest situation. This investor is like, I don't want to touch it. I don't want to touch it. We're terminating this deal. Has put us in such a bind. Granted, we're going to figure it out. This is going to work out. This is going to work out. So I'm going to come back to you with how this is going to work out. It's going to work out. We're going to figure it out. Not with this buyer, but we're going to work it out. But just to show you, like, this investor does not want to hear anything. Like, he's not listening. He doesn't care that 30% of the community already has renters in it. An HOA is technically not formed. He sees this document. He's like, I don't want to touch it. To them, it's just numbers. It's just numbers. This could potentially be a problem down the road. I guess in his mind, that's what he's thinking. I don't even want to bother. I'll just move on to the next property. I buy $100 a month. This is nothing for me to do. I don't care that the seller is going to be in a bind, and I could potentially be messing them up from, buying their next property because they have to sell in order to buy. They don't care about that stuff. The biggest problem and issue that we have, and FYI, if you are selling to one of these types of investors, they are a machine, right? They have departments and processes of how they get things done. We did not find out about this until the 9th hour. We're supposed to close Monday. We found out about this Thursday at 7 p.m. That's the biggest issue that we have. Had we found out about this early in the game, no problem. But they don't care. This is nothing to them. We'll just terminate and get our earnest money back. Screw everybody else. Like, we don't care how this affects them. They don't care about you. You are just a number. And if the numbers work for them, they will buy your home. So, PSA, FYI, buyer beware, seller beware. Okay, if you are selling your home to one of these investors, you need to be aware. Okay, you're banking on them going through this deal. And trust me, they have long money, like long money. When they send their pre-approvals, it's for probably the millions. So if they lose a couple $1,000s in earnest money, it's nothing to them, okay, for them to terminate a deal. And a lot of the time they have their contracts written up in such a way that they're not going to lose their earnest money. So when you are selling your home to them, make sure you take it into consideration. Make sure you read that contract. Make sure you press them. That's going to be a huge learning lesson. Just don't trust them to do what you think should be done. I don't know. I did have a case before where a seller accepted an offer from another investor like this, and this was right before COVID happened, and he was a go. Everything was a go, and when COVID happened, they just terminated. They just halted buying anything in Georgia, and they were just like, we're not proceeding, and just stopped it just like that. So just keep that in mind. So I'll sign out here. I may be back in this video, or I may be back in another video. So when you are thinking of selling to companies like this, beware. And just FYI, I have some sellers, and there are some people that don't want to sell their homes to investors. Other people don't care who they sell their homes to. So y'all send them a prayer for me. By the time this video goes up, this is gonna be resolved. Whew. Man, I'm telling you, these past couple of months, like, there has been no easy button in real estate. There has been no easy button in real estate, but I saw this post and I'm gonna include it here. And essentially I'm calling it divine pressure. This is divine pressure. This is making diamonds. I'm learning. Thank God for my clients. They're trusting. We're going to figure it out. Like, that is one thing. I do not promise perfection, because this is real estate. That's what gets me about real estate. Like, you could be doing everything that you're supposed to do, but there's so many other parties and things can come up and unknowns and all that kind of other stuff in real estate. So I do not promise perfection, but I do promise that if you stick with me, we will navigate what does come up to the closing table. All right, so just send one up for me and we're gonna work this out. Whew. Guys, have a positive, peaceful, and productive day.